guys, Bill coming back at you again with another video. Today we are going to be doing some work on the 4x4 Sea of Green, get them ready to flip here in a couple of days. And we'll also be doing an unboxing on a new light that I'm going to set up in my 5x5. Alright guys, so first off, let's check out this 4x4. We have the Condensate bananas, and they're ready to flip, so we're going to do some work to them today. So let's get right at that. Alright guys, so here we have in the Mars Hydro 4x4. We have running in here, we have the Mars Hydro FC-6500Evo, and we have these beautiful Condensate bananas. Now, we just put these in here right around 3 weeks ago, and we have 8 of them in this little swimming pool, and they're growing like super fast. Let's see here, let's take a close-up. Look at the size of these leaves. These leaves are huge, and there's tons of them. So what we're going to do today is, where we have 8 of them here in the 4x4, we can't veg them too long. And I think they've gone actually long enough. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take off a bunch of these big leaves. We're going to open everything up, make sure that all the area is covered. We can pull branches down if needed. We'll also be getting underneath here and cleaning up the bottoms. We got a lot to clean out down there as well. That way we get lots of airflow underneath. Now these are being fed Gaia Green organic nutrients that we mixed right in with the soil when we planted them. A few days before we planted them, and that seems to be working really well. I have really been pumping the light to these guys, and I found last night, I thought I got to back off just a little bit. When I measured the par yesterday, they were getting over 800 par. And that's over a 20-hour period. I'm running the lights 20 on, 4 off. So they're getting a DLI of about 55, which may be just pushing it a little bit, because they're starting to show, we can see here the yellowing around the edge of the new leaves here. And it's only on the top ones. A little bit of light stress there. So we are going to back the lights off just a little bit because of that. We're going to be flipping the lights to 12 on, 12 off. So we should be able to push it a little bit harder at that point as well. But yeah, a lot to clean out here. So let's get at it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of it here on camera. I should be able to get some around the edge here that I'll show you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put you down on the tripod. Normally the tripod's up pretty high, but I'm going to try to get right down. Let's see, where's this tripod? We're going to try to get in here as close as we can so you guys can see exactly what we're doing. So let's get at it. All right, let's try this again. Somehow my phone got turned off. We've already cleaned up a couple of the bottoms here. We can see the bud clips that we've used to help pull things out, and LST basically. We've got 4 here on all 4 branches of this plant. Seemed to work pretty good so far. Let's spin it around here so we can trim up a couple more of them for you here on camera, and then we will then I'll go ahead and do the rest off camera, and then we'll come back and do the tops. We'll just do the bottoms here first, just clean everything up underneath of here, any low branches like this, get them out of the way. We want to allow enough airflow to get through here. So, and anything that isn't going to make it to the very top level, we're going to take it off, because it's never going to produce anything that is top quality, which is all I like to grow, is top quality. I don't like to have a bunch of larfy type stuff, really loose buds down below. It's just a pain to trim it, and I grow enough that I don't need to waste time with that. So these have only been vegged for 3 weeks. We put the clones in here right around 3 weeks ago, and yeah, that seems to be plenty of time for in here. We have 8 plants in here, so we can't veg them too long. But one good thing about that is we're able to get a quick turnaround, and we could even get probably another whole grow within the same amount of time. If we grew these, you know, vegged them for 6-8 weeks, we might be able to get a little bit more harvest out of that by only vegging for 3 weeks, we can get probably another whole crop in the season. Definitely one good way of doing it. Now, I don't always do, you know, really quick, short veg times, but I always like to change things up a little bit as well. Even take this one here off. Hopefully you're seeing this, and I didn't turn the table too much, but let's do this one here. There's some really big leaves here. Make sure I'm recording. Yeah. One bad thing about this way, though, is you can't pick up your pots and put them on a table while you're training them and defoliating and lollipopping. So if you're somebody like me with bad knees from working in the plant all your life, it's a little hard on the knees. Let's see here. Make sure that you guys, make sure we're in frame here. And I'm thinking my arm may be in the way. So I apologize if it is. But I think you get the idea. I've shown this numerous times before anyway, so if you want to see a little closer up where I can actually get the camera, lift the plant up and get the camera in there so you can see exactly everything, then you can definitely go back to my channel. I got plenty of those out there as well. So okay, so there's this one. Get her all cleaned up there. You can see the bud clips that we have on there as well. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I'll clean up the rest of the bottoms, and then we'll come back and we'll show cleaning up the tops as well. So I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. All right, guys, so I went ahead and cleaned out all the bottoms, lollipopped them all up, and we'll take a look at that in a bit. But first off, we're going to do a little bit here up top and see if we can clean out a lot of these spaces and see where the individual branches are and pull them down into to fill up any gaps that we can do. So we'll go ahead and start that now. First thing I'm going to do is take off these really big leaves here because they just block so much in here. Just taking these big ones off is going to really open up this canopy so we can see down through and see what spaces are left that we can fill in. So we're gonna strip this down pretty good. We're gonna open up all the bud sites here, see what we have to work with. Now one's on the outside like this one here. I'll probably just leave that one. That's not overhanging anything, so it's not going to be in the way. We're mostly going for the inside. Okay. Get up into this one a little bit too. Yeah, there's some really big leaves here. Quite a bit of growth for 3 weeks. Pretty happy with it so far. Down here. Okay. So even just those couple of handfuls of big leaves really open this up quite a bit. So now we can see we've got lots here, a little gap right in here. Let's swing this around just a little bit. So we got a little gap in here. We can go ahead and take a couple bud clips, and we're going to pull a couple of these down into this space. Okay, so we're going to stick that on there. Pretty good sized stalks too. Pull them down. I just broke that one. So I guess we're just going to pull that right off and try it again. Got a little too carried away with that. It happens. Now we still got on here, we still got this top here that's going to come right up and fill that gap in anyway. So let's try this again. We'll be a little more careful this time. Just a little careful. All right, so now this one's going to come up here and that'll fill that gap in. Now we got another big one here. Yeah, some of these branches are actually quite thick, and you can tell they're I could tell when I was taking off some of them branches down below. They're only 3 weeks, so they don't have like that woody outside. They're still very fragile, so I'm not sure. And they have to be able to bend about 90 degrees with these clips, so I'm not even sure if these are really the best thing to use at this moment. We'll try again. We'll try on this one, see how it goes. You know, we'll be a little more careful. That one I just tried pulling down. This one I'm just going to kind of bounce a little bit and slowly see if I can soften that up just a little bit, get it a little bit more bendy, because this thing is like a hollow straw. Look at this one that broke. It's like a hollow straw, so very fragile. Now I could just put a garden staple in down below and tie it to it. It may be a little less stress on it, but we got it. There we go. So now we got this one that's going to come up here. This is going to come up here and fill this entire gap in. So that looks good. We'll go ahead, turn it a little bit, pull off some more of these big leaves here. Okay. Alright, now again, some of these lower ones, there's no problem leaving them on. They're not going to be in the way because they're below the canopy anyway. There's no bud sites below them. So now let's see, what do we got here? We got this little branch here. We could bend this one back just to fill in this little area. We'll go ahead and do that. Now we're going to be careful again, don't want to break any more. Alright, so we're going to bounce it. We're going to bounce it a little bit. Just kind of roll it a little bit under my thumb. I'm just kind of putting a little pressure, a little roll, a little bounce. Just a little bounce. Just enough to slip that right in there. There we go. So there we go. Nothing to it. Just have to be a little bit more gentle. Okay. Let's see. Now we have this one here. Let's see. We have this one. This one's going to come up. Once this gets a little higher, we can train that into this section. I think this is fine in this area. Pull this. This. Now I know I always get some people, well, you're pulling all the solar panels off. Yes, they are the solar panels, and plants need them for their photosynthesis. But I kind of came up with an idea when I first started growing. Like, I get it, they need the leaves. For one, they're going to grow them back. By the time you see these next week, you're probably not even going to notice that they're gone. But it will give them this little bit of time of being exposed, these bud sites exposed to the light, that'll give them a little bit a boost of energy at that point. Also, when you look at plants outdoors, I find it's a little bit different. They have a lot of leaves, and we don't typically prune them as much outdoors, because outdoors you're going to get cloudy days, you're going to get rainy days, you might have a full week of cloudy, rainy, crappy days. So it needs those extra solar panels, because if you strip them all off and you have cloudy days, they might not be able to pull in enough energy. But inside, it's all sunny days in here, so I think we can use a little bit less solar panels. That's just my way of thinking. There's no science behind that. As I said, I'm not a science guy, I'm not a scientist or anything like that, but it just kind of makes sense to me. All right, so we have this tall one here. That's going to be on the outside of the tent. I think we can leave that for now. See how they look in a couple of weeks, and I can play around with this one at that point. Because there's not a lot of gaps here for that to fill in. I could fold it down over into here, but I want to see what this one is first. Maybe we'll go back to it. Let's clean this one out here first and see what we got to play with. Okay. This one off too. Okay. Let's see here. Put this one. All right. So what we can do with this, we got this one here. We can bend this one down to fill in this little gap. Now this one's quite a bit taller than the rest, so we're going to go a little bit lower on the branch. Again, we're going to be really careful. A little bounce. That seemed to work the last couple of times. And like I said, you can tell these branches are still really young and quite fragile. Okay, little bounce there, a little bit more. Don't snap, don't snap. Just enough to get underneath that edge. Oh, I had it, then I let it go. There we go. All right, so we got this one. Now this one will come up here. Good. I think maybe we will come back here to this one. Okay. Let's see if we can place this one over here in this direction. Alright, we'll go down here. A little bounce. Don't break. Okay. I'm going to pop this off, and I'm going to leave that one on there. So now that one will come in. This one, as it gets heavy, is going to come down here. This is going to fill out here once it gets a little heavier. So that should be filled in by the time she's into flower. All right, guys. All right, so we got about half of it done there. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to finish the rest up off camera, and then we'll come back, we'll take a look at the whole thing and see what you think. All right, so we're back and we're done. We've got it all cleaned out now. There's a few bigger leaves there left in the middle, but they're not over top of anything, so they're fine. We've used a bunch of bud clips and kind of filled in any areas that we could, and tried to keep everything at about the same height, so we get a nice even canopy in here. That way we can set the light to the desired par, and it should be pretty much even over the entire sea of green. So I'm going to let them heal up a couple of days. In a couple of days, everything that we see is bent over that was freshly bent today. They'll be back up straight up to the light, and yeah, we'll be ready to flip. So hopefully next week this will be all back up standing straight, and it should look really good. All right, so that's it for this part. Really excited. Got a package in the mail the other day, and I'm super excited to get it open. Let's go check it out now. All right, so you guys know whenever I run the 5x5, I've always used the FC-6500. Well, Mars Hydro, they wanted to know if I wanted to try out the new 2024 upgraded version of the FC-6500. So, of course I do. So here we go. Let's get right into it. Excited to get this out. Of course, we have slaps for the tent, and I actually have to replace, I have this one here on the bumper of my Charger, my car, and it's pretty faded now, so I'm going to use that one to replace it. But so we'll set those aside. We'll get right in here. We got the user manual. We'll set that aside as well. I've opened up a few of these, so I pretty much know what I'm getting into. Let's see. Okay, they sent this here, which I wasn't sure if they were going to send it or not, but this is the iConnect, and I'll show you where it goes in a minute. But this here you have to buy separately, and this is what you can use to be able to use the app. I believe this is like 13 bucks. If you don't want it, you don't have to buy it, but if you want to use the app, you need to buy one of these, and it's just a USB, and it'll plug right into the control box here. So we'll set that aside, and I'll stick that in a little bit. All right, we got a little bag of goodies here. So we got these are the mounting brackets, so we'll set those down there. We have our ratchet straps, as well as our connector cable here for a daisy chain, if we want to daisy chain the lights together. That's what that's for. And power cord. All right, so let's get into the big one here. Let's see, I guess we got the driver. Now this is a 730 watt unit. I guess I'll go ahead and show you, pop the top off this iConnect, and we'll take the cover off of here, and basically that just slides right into there. Okay, so there, with that plugged in, now we can use the app, the Mars Hydro app, to control the light. So that's pretty cool. Now that used to be built right in here, but I think to save cost, if you don't want it, now you don't have to pay for it. If you want that feature, you got to pay 13 bucks for it. Some people don't like the app stuff. I'm going to disconnect the driver just so that we can set this all aside and get the light out itself. All right, let's look at this baby. Mars Hydro FC-6500. Now, I wish they would put Evo here. I'm not sure why they don't. I'm going to make a little sticker to put Evo there, because it is here on the tag itself. It does say the Samsung LM301H Evo diodes, which is what this light uses, which are very efficient diodes. They have a rating of 3.14 U-moles per joule per diode. The overall light together has a rating of 2.9 U-moles per joule. So very efficient. It's cheaper to run because they're so efficient, which of course will save you money on your power bill. Plus, since it's using less power to run, it's going to be less heat involved too. So you're going to save that way as well. All right, let's open this up. I haven't seen this yet. This is the first time I'm taking it out of this box, but let's check it out. Damn. I'm gonna have to set it this way. This is a big light. One thing I'm noticing is it's very lightweight compared to the other one. I feel like the weight is lower. So they must be using a lighter material for the light. It still seems very solid, but just a little lighter material. Now let's take a closer look here. So we have the Samsung LM301H Evo diodes here. Plus we have lots of reds. They've increased the red spectrum on these lights, which is great for flower. With the increased red, I find you get a little bit more of a denser bud out of them too, so that really helps. Now every diode is set here specifically. We can see they're pretty evenly spaced here, but when it comes to the end, they cram a bunch of them all together on all the ends, and that way you'll be getting more light around the edges, which will spread out past the light. So that gives us a bigger footprint than what the light actually is. Now let's close it up here. Now they've also changed on the back here the heat sink. They use a different wave design heat sink, which is supposed to be 30% more efficient at keeping the light bars cool as well. So that's pretty cool. I don't even think my other Evo has that upgrade, but there we have it. Super excited to try it out. I'm also going to be using the ad lights with this. They sent me the bigger size ad lights to try out with this as well. So the next grow in the 5x5, we should be able to pump out a lot of bud in there. Now I don't have them opened as of yet, and I won't be able to set this up today because my 5x5 is not quite ready, but I was so excited to get it out of the box, I had to do a video on it today. But yeah, very impressive, and I can't wait to see how it produces. All right, guys, so that's it for this one. We got to check out the new Mars Hydro FC-6500Evo. Beast of a light. I can't wait to run that. Also did some work here in the 4x4, and super excited to get that into flower. So be sure to come back next week. Next week, we'll take a look again at the outside grows, see how they're making out. Now, for anybody that is interested in any of Mars Hydro's products, the main sponsor of the channel, pretty much all I use their tents, lights, fans, exhaust fans, pretty much anything that I need for growing, I got it. If you're interested in any of that, feel free to check out the links down below. I'll have all the Mars Hydro links there, also some Amazon links for their products as well. And be sure to use code BWARD. That'll save you a little bit extra at checkout as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Happy growing.